Being intelligent has always seemed like an advantage, but is it really? The weight, the expectations, and the sacrifices you never asked for are dragging you into an abyss with no way out. Get ready, because today I'm going to prove to you that you will never want to be intelligent again. And this might be the most uncomfortable revelation you've ever heard. Being intelligent is like having eyes that see in a world of blind people. It seems like a gift, but soon you realize the weight it carries. You see the abyss where others see a path. Schopenhauer compared intelligence to a lighthouse that illuminates the storms of life. But who wants to carry that light when it only reveals more storms? The more you understand, the more you realize the futility and pain that surround you. It's like being the only one who notices that the party is over, while everyone else keeps dancing. And in the end, that becomes crushing loneliness. Ruling over others is a true art, and many thinkers have tried to decipher the secret of this power. Schopenhauer presented a peculiar idea to stand out. It was better to act like a fool. It might seem contradictory, but his logic was ingenious. Schopenhauer believed that openly seeking success often led to being considered arrogant, while pretending to be less intelligent could open unexpected doors. This philosophy began to form when he was still young, at the age of 19. His mother wrote him a letter criticizing his habit of wanting to stand out at all costs. Although she recognized his brilliance, she pointed out that his desire to be the smartest was harming his own virtues. These words marked Schopenhauer. He realized that while being intellectually superior placed him above the average, it also isolated him, generating envy and resentment in others. That's when he decided to create a strategy to appear less capable than he really was. This maneuver, far from being a sign of weakness, actually gave him an advantage, surprising others when he showed his true potential. So what can we learn from this? The art of surprise. Showing all our strength at once is not always the best path. Sometimes the advantage lies in appearing weaker or uninterested. In order to act with precision and impact at the right moment, many leaders and warriors throughout history have used this strategy to succeed. Pretending to have fewer skills makes others underestimate you, which, in practice, creates space for unexpected achievements. Sun Tzu, the military strategist, said, "All warfare is based on deception. When we have the opportunity to attack, it is wise to appear harmless. When we are moving, it is advantageous to appear still." This tactic does not only apply to battlefields, but to any everyday situation. Whether in a meeting, a competition, or even an informal conversation, some people stand out because they observe more than they speak, waiting for the exact moment to make an impact. It's a game of subtlety. As Gandhi wisely advised, speak only if what you are going to say is better than silence. Being a true leader is knowing how to listen and speak at the right moment in any group. There are always those who speak non-stop, those who prefer to listen in silence, and curiously, those who speak too much, unless they are leading, are not always taken seriously. Schopenhauer argued that wisdom lies in knowing when to open your mouth. Pretending to be a fool doesn't mean being ignorant, but having an awareness of the precise moment to act or remain silent, as Plato brilliantly summed it up. The wise speak because they have something to say. The foolish speak because they need to say something. Listening attentively can be one of the most powerful tools you have in your hands. When you pay attention to the details around you, every piece of information absorbed becomes a key element to, at the right moment, make a genuine impact with your ideas. And you know, that strategy of pretending not to know something may be more clever than it seems, because it makes others believe they've arrived at their own conclusions on their own. After all, we all deal with authority figures like parents, teachers, and bosses, who sometimes require a more delicate approach. When our parents make mistakes or grow old, we can try to guide them without imposing our opinions. The advice here is to plant ideas subtly, so that they feel the idea is their own. Think of a professional athlete who, with a touch of lightness, allows a special fan to win a match. This not only builds respect, but it also boosts the self-esteem of those around them. At work, for example, dealing with bosses requires skill. Sometimes, the best option is not to know something in order to avoid exposing an awkward situation in which they might be wrong. In the end, protecting the ego of others might be the key to maintaining a good professional relationship. You don't need to be a philosopher to realize that this behavior is already part of our daily life. If you already care about acting sensibly at work, that's already a big step. Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said that pretending to be a fool is the last resort to hide the flaws of others. Preserving someone's dignity reminds us that deep down, we are all human and have feelings. Constantly correcting someone can end up making us the annoying one, or the villain of the story. We don't always need to be the center of attention for those already under the spotlight. It's great to attract gazers, but before reaching that point, it's important to learn to be discreet. In difficult moments, drawing attention can be a shot in the foot. In fact, being vulnerable and admitting our weaknesses makes us more human and relatable to others. Schopenhauer also mentioned this. Act as if we don't know everything until the moment comes to show our potential. Meanwhile, listening and absorbing are our secret weapons. There's an old saying that goes, "To enjoy the benefits of being seen as a fool, one must accept appearing foolish for a while." In the Tao Te Ching, this is well addressed. Lao Tzu teaches that the true wise person avoids confrontations and never shows everything they know. Wise person dresses in simple clothes, but carries a jewel in their heart. Socrates used something similar with his famous irony. He feigned ignorance to make people open up, ultimately revealing their own contradictions. His famous "I know that I know nothing" was not just a slogan. It was a tool to extract wisdom from others. Arthur Schopenhauer noticed something very curious about people. We are always so worried about what others think. It's as if we spend our whole lives trapped in the opinions of others, thinking our happiness depends on them. But if we stop for a moment to reflect, we can notice that most of those opinions have no weight in our personal growth. That we are so focused on pleasing, on being seen in a certain way, that we forget that what truly matters is conquering for who we are, with humility, without needing to show off to anyone. When you decide to hide the mistakes of others and also offer support for them to overcome their own challenges, even if it seems that all the credit goes to them, you end up taking on the role of the wise fool. It might seem like a secondary role, but it holds enormous power. People start to respect you, sometimes without understanding why. It's like being that stranger no one pays much attention to, but in the end, you surprise them and leave a mark. The key is to be kind and empathetic. Everyone has their battles, their burdens, and showing compassion makes a big difference. Have you ever seen someone who loves to brag after a victory, almost rubbing success in everyone's face? It's unpleasant, right? This type of attitude doesn't generate admiration, just discomfort. Frank Lucas summed it up very well by saying, The one who makes the most noise in the room is the weakest in the room. Schopenhauer, like Lucas, knew that true respect comes from modesty. When you achieve something and act like it's just another ordinary day, without boasting, people see you differently, pretending that the success was calm, that it's nothing special, impresses far more than any attitude of superiority, that humility is what captivates, more than the success itself. In the end, being the fool is often the smartest move to gain respect and success. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know, not everyone can endure facing this journey, reflecting on intelligence, the abysses of the mind, and what it means to be seen as foolish in a world that constantly pushes us toward protagonism. If you're still here, it's because something here has touched you. Maybe you've felt the weight of being different, of being misunderstood, or maybe you're just looking for a lighter way to live and connect with others. I want to tell you a little story. A wise person, known for their humility, was called to lead a village full of conflicts. Instead of imposing his ideas or showing all his wisdom at once, he walked through the corners, listened to the people, observed in silence. Over time, those people who barely noticed him began to trust him, not because he was the brightest, but because he made them feel heard and understood. His true power did not lie in being the smartest or standing out, but in knowing when to speak and when to listen. And you, who are here now, are part of this journey. Every reflection, every idea, every moment you allow yourself to open up to new thoughts makes this exchange even more special. The message Schopenhauer left us might be uncomfortable, but if we look at it with affection, it also brings liberation. We don't need to carry the world on our shoulders to be valuable. Sometimes, being discreet, listening, and even pretending to be foolish is where we find our true power and connection with others. So, my gratitude is more than for having reached the end. It's for being someone willing to see beyond, to reflect, to feel. If this video left you with something of value, carry it with you, share your own stories, and above all, keep seeking the balance between showing your light and retreating into the shadows when necessary. Thank you for being part of this moment.